Welcome to the Business of Black Business, a talk show that interviews Black entrepreneurs and advocates for Black business. The topics of conversation include access to capital, best business practices, success stories, and more. Now introducing our host, Mr. Jay Reynolds.
Hi. Welcome to another installment of the Business of Black Business. Question for you. Are you a minority-owned tech startup? Are you located right now today in North Miami, or do you want to live, work, and play in North Miami? Well, this week we get to discuss a new initiative designed to partner with you to help you to get the tools that you need to successfully start, scale up your business. Tune in. My name is Jay Reynolds. I own WolfCreek Consulting. We are a top-ranked executive staffing firm that specializes in placing professionals in finance, accounting, and IT. You know that this is the Business of Black Business. This is a show that's designed to help Black entrepreneurs and would-be entrepreneurs start, scale up, and sustain their business by giving you access to people that can actually help you to do it and tools that can help you to do that. It's a unique opportunity to help you to gain access to successful business owners and thought leaders and hear from them. I want you to hear how they did it. I want you to sort of be in the room where it happened. It's really an opportunity for you to gain information to take your business to the next level. Okay. Due to a lot of hard work, and let's call it sunshine here in the state of Florida, South Florida is really emerging as a new Silicon Valley, right? Today, we get to discuss NoMi Tech with Vice Mayor Irvin. NoMi is an initiative to support tech startups in North Miami. First of all, welcome to the show, Vice Mayor. I really appreciate you being here. Meet Vice Mayor Mary Estime-Irvin. Did I butcher your name again?
You did not. You did very well. You did very
awesome.
well.
Hey, I know you were. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, thank you so much, Jay, for having me here today. It's such a pleasure for me to be on this platform to talk about businesses, especially in the Black community.
Absolutely. There's nothing more important to me than that, for sure. I want to give you, I don't read resumes or bios, but I do want to share a little bit about who you are and then hear directly from you in terms of, you know, your who you are and what makes you you. But on June 11th, 2019, Councilwoman Mary Estime-Irvin was elected to serve District 3 residents in the city of North Miami. She is a proud PTSA mom and an accomplished business leader and a devoted civic advocate. She is currently managing partner of Estime-Irvin Consulting, LLC, and former president and CEO of E&I Associates, a South Florida-based staffing and recruiting agency. And I know a lot about that.
Have that in common.
At any rate, Vice Mayor, why don't you please introduce yourself? Tell me who you are. Tell me where you grew up. Tell me a little bit about who your mentors were, who your influencers were. I want people to know not only that you know that you're involved in local politics, but who you are as a business person, who you are as a Black woman and a Black entrepreneur.
Well, thank you so much for the question. Again, I am Vice Mayor Mary Estime-Irvin, but I was not always Vice Mayor Estime-Irvin. I was actually born and raised in New York, born in Manhattan, raised in Brooklyn. And then my parents decided they wanted a better quality of life. And so they moved to Miami. I'm a proud product of immigrants. I'm the first Haitian American, Haitian born, Haitian American person in my family, or in my family. I am a businesswoman, like mentioned. I started several different businesses. One of them, believe it or not, was the music business. At one time, I was managing artists, and then I went into staffing. And as we're going to talk later on, And I noticed that you specialized in IT. I specialize in doing governmental
Oh,
staffing.
okay.
And so, as we talk about niche and as we start to
Yeah.
develop the subject, and I was very intentional about doing staffing or being available to staff governmental agency. I'm a very active member of my church. I belong to Miami Seventh-day Baptist Church, where I'm the former president of the women's ministry. I also serve on several boards. I am on the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust. I am on the board for the Florida Development, the Florida Development Association. I serve on the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce. I've been member of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. Um, I'm a former executive member of the North Miami Police Athletic League. At the end of the day, I'm a public servant and have always been. And it is my pleasure
Yeah.
to make this place better than what I found it.
Also important, and obviously, you have a servant's heart, right? And you definitely wear a lot of hats. So I really appreciate you spending the time to talk to us today. So I want to kind of drill down into to asking you questions about NoMi and understanding what's happening in your great city. But before we do that, tell me a little bit about the city of North Miami.
So, of course, it's the best city ever to live in.
No, I don't know. I live in Coral Springs, and I serve on a number of boards here, and I like it here a lot.
But in all seriousness, North Miami is a great place
Yes.
to be. Like I've mentioned, we are approximately 60,000 plus resident, very diverse. We are a majority Black city, but there's a lot of diversity, and even there's diversity. We are African American, we are Haitian American, we are Caribbean American, and then we have the Jewish population, the Hispanic. We're a melting pot here in the city of North Miami. But what makes North Miami strategically very attractive is that we're about 15 minutes away from both airports, pretty much. We're close to the seaport. We're not far from the beaches, and we still have that. We are an urban city. Mm-hmm. But it's still very homey, even though we've been the talk of town. There's a lot of development going on here, and I'm just so happy that we are part of addressing the obtainable housing issues that we're facing throughout the United States, in particular Florida, and we're addressing this. So whenever you have to address housing, then you automatically have to address employment and economic development, and so I think that we are ripe, very mature, and ready to embrace the various industries, hence NoMi Tech.
Okay. I will tell you this, that, you talk about affordable housing and development and stuff like that. And that's a whole nother show by itself, right?
Yes.
Gentrification and making sure that people that traditionally in that area have a place to live.
Absolutely.
That's a story all in and of itself. But tell me a little bit about NoMi Tech and why you light up when you start talking about it. So tell me why you're so high on it and why you're so high on this initiative.
So like you've mentioned in my resume, when I was elected, and actually before being elected in 2019, because, when you plan to run for office, you're figuring out exactly what impact are you going to have and what are you bringing to the table? And so it actually started with a corridor that we have in my district, West Dixie Corridor, which runs throughout South Florida. But which is actually just a plug in now, the Harriet Tubman Boulevard as well. But
yeah,
traditionally known as West Dixie Corridor. And I started to say, what could I do here to improve this corridor that was impacted when I-95 was built? So before that used to be a major thoroughfare, but when I-95 was built, it kind of actually hurt some of the businesses. And in particular, in my district, we just now had some businesses after 40 years trying to develop. And so we had a zoning change in 2015 in our area that a lot of the business owners, as you know, small business are so busy just trying to make ends meet and getting grants, and sometimes are
Yeah.
not always familiar with the new laws and what's happening. So I
Right.
started walking
Too busy
around.
working in your business
Too busy.
versus working on your business.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I started talking to some of them and say, well, did you know, can you take advantage of a zoning change that's been done? You know that you can go XY feet high, 100, about 110 feet, it can be mixed use, etc. And so I said to myself, you know what, I need to probably have a industry concentrated there. And in the interim, the Mayor Francis Suarez, and I give him a lot of credit for that, started attracting the tech industry here in Miami. And so at that time, I saw an opportunity that we can, based on
Right.
the diverse
Right.
population that we have here in North Miami, use this to attract, not necessarily eliminate anyone else coming. You know, our
Right, of
doors are
course
open
not.
for
Of
anyone to
course.
do business, but to have a
course.
concentration or to encourage Black tech to NoMi Tech.
Right.
And so this is how this came about.
I got to tell you, I've been so encouraged. You know, I'm out and about a lot, you know, just networking and working on my business, so to speak, and meeting people. You know, I've been so encouraged by some of the young tech companies that I'm starting, young Black tech companies that I'm starting to see. You know, there's one in particular, Black Men Do Tech, or I can't remember those kids' names, but they're like making some things happen, right?
Yes.
And on and on and on. The cool thing about that whole thing is that you have the ability to basically work anywhere you want, right? All you've got to do is make the culture and make it attractive to basically pull businesses into that corridor to make that happen. So I applaud you guys for doing that, because you really have the opportunity to do something that's sustainable.
Right.
Not only that, we're talking about salaries that are not service salaries. You know what I mean? It's not $14 an hour kind of job.
Right.
We're talking about real jobs, right? So then again, I applaud that, because I think all too often, you know, when people are talking about development and bringing an industry, they're talking about service-oriented jobs. We have enough of those.
But you know exactly, but so but I have to tell you, I had a little concern at first. I'm like, oh
Okay.
wait, especially with a large immigrant group, as I mentioned earlier on. Well, how is this going to be? How is this going to affect them? What's going to happen?
Uh-huh.
And so, you know, we kind of worked through a lot of those things. Just because you have a tech industry doesn't mean it eliminate the other services job that you're talking about as well. Right. So they're still make a significant impact enough that, you know, some of their services may be used as well, even though there's a concentration in tech. And then there are a lot of opportunities where, you know, in fact, some of the challenges we may have, some of them may not have a higher education level. Well, there are a lot of startups, and there are a lot of training that can go along that, and they're high paying jobs. And while so it's thinking about tech, but like you said in the beginning, and our motto is making North Miami in particular, with NoMi Tech, an area where people can work, live, and play.
Exactly. I totally believe that. Lightship Foundation.
Yes.
The city is partnering with Lightship Foundation to launch these programs. Who are they? Tell me a little bit about them, and how did the city select this particular foundation as a partner, or was it vice versa?
So let me just take out this moment when we're talking about Lightship, before I get into Lightship, to talk about to credit and to recognize our former manager, Teresa Terlis, which is now the executive director for the chairman's office in Miami-Dade County, along with the commission's office. And I want to applaud our current city manager, Rasha Kamo, which is taking the helm and running with it. So at that time, when Teresa Terlis, the first Haitian American city manager in North Miami, came about, I said to her, look, this is my vision. This is what I would like to see. You know, I want to make sure that we bring tech and encourage minorities to do tech in North Miami. And so she immediately connected with Lightship, and in finding out that Lightship basically specializes in helping startup scale up minority businesses in this in this field. And so this was such a perfect partnership. And so this is how this marriage with Lightship in North Miami began.
Cool. Talk to me a little bit about who they are, though. Lightship Foundation. Let's drill down into that a little bit, meaning that, first of all, nobody knows who Lightship Foundation is. Obviously, you guys went out and built that relationship, but nobody really knows who they are. Let's say, for example, if you're talking about Bill Gates Foundation or whatever, people know who they are, right? Jeff Bezos' foundation, people know who they are. Tell me a little bit about Lightship Foundation. How did they start? How they, do you have any idea about who these guys are and why they do what they do?
So I will briefly tell you what I do know. We've had a great partnership so far, but my understanding about Lightship is that they saw the need, as usual.
Mm-hmm.
What is the saying? When everybody else has a cold, we have pneumonia in our community. And so Lightship saw this opportunity to say, hey, tech is going on, but what does tech mean to us in the Black community?
Right.
So Lightship Foundation is serving underrepresented entrepreneurs and ecosystem where they leverage their corporate partnership and specialize in program and meaning mentorships and capital investment to drive in within the minority innovation companies. Mm-hmm. So our experience have been great with them. As you know, last 2 weeks ago, we've launched our NoMi Tech. We had a boot camp, a 2-day boot camp, and the reaction in the community was awesome. We are planning another session with them in December, and so again, looking to grow to deepen our partnership with Lightship. And I know that they have those similar workshops throughout various different states.
Got it. So, and I know that they're, what they do is design to help startup companies, and I guess my expectation is that the company that would be in this program would have to actually be headquartered in North Miami. Is that correct? Or what do you have to do in order to be eligible to participate in this boot camp, if you would?
Right. So you either have to be in North Miami or wanting or planning on being in North Miami. Mm-hmm. This is what we're attracting. We're attracting them to be here in our city, doing business in our city.
Okay. And what are some of the incentives? Tell me how that works. Are there that you can talk about? I don't know if there are any incentives that you can talk about as it relates to doing what you're saying about tracking some of those businesses. Is it tax breaks, or is it our incubation space, or what are some of the?
Very good question. We are formalizing right now. So one of the things I forgot to say during my introduction as a elected official, I serve as Vice Mayor of the City of North Miami, but I also serve as Vice Chair of the Community Redevelopment Agency.
Okay.
And the the CRA, as commonly known to others, is to eliminate slum and blight. Outside of creating housing, creating economic development opportunities. So I kind of expressed this, but didn't say where it was coming from West 60 corridor. Remember, we talked about that. So one of the things that we're doing is putting together, prioritizing. We just had a workshop a couple weeks ago. The opportunity for businesses, to have extra incentive, and we're still working out the kinks, that if they come here, and in particular they come to West 60 corridor, that they will be able to have some preferential treatments or more than we normally would have done for any other areas, because we're really trying to incentivize the area by coming here to West Dixie.
Small companies or small companies and medium-sized companies. Let's say, for example, you take a company, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just trying to give people information that they can actually use, right? In a language that they can actually use. Let's say, for example, you have a small company, it's 20 years old. They have an office. They have an office in Fort Lauderdale. They have an office in West Palm Beach, and they're looking for a third office. They have the opportunity to move to Miami, or they have the opportunity to move to North Miami, and they're different.
Right.
We both know they're very different. So is there an opportunity for that person to come to put his business in North Miami, and then there would be incentives that like for rent or incentives? And I think maybe you made the point that you guys are working out the details.
Right, we are working out. We just had our
Yeah.
meeting on April 25th, and we're working out the details. But we are definitely creating incentive to make
Right.
sure that we are attracting the we to have an attraction to improve our or to set up our NoMi Tech.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then that is going to be the biggest question. And I know that this thing is being formalized, and I do understand that. So I'm not really trying to put you on the spot as much as I want people to be incentivized to contact your office, or incentivized to do the legwork to figure out who these people, figure out who this partnership is, so they basically can try to put their offices in North Miami if they're thinking about moving. Hey, you got a choice. You can move to Miami and may or may not get an incentive, or you can move to North Miami, and then there's something tangible that attracts you.
Exactly, and I can tell you off the bat, I know that we're more affordable than our surrounding sister
Yeah.
city. For the one of the simple fact that we're almost the last city going to our development sprout. So I know that this is a great opportunity if you are thinking about. If you're not in Florida and you want to come to the Sunshine State, North Miami is the place to be. And if you're in the Florida area, nearby area, and you're where you are, you want more affordable. I mean, you want to cut down on some of your overheads, or however you may like it. North Miami would be that place for you.
Are there any other initiatives that you can think of that the city is trying to kind of develop a relationship with some other tech companies, or some other incentives? I mean, some other types of let's call it companies willing to invest in the city and invest in tech. Are there anything else that's coming on the horizon? And what about the city of Miami in terms of you guys? Because Miami, and quite frankly, we're stronger together, right? Simply, you're stronger together. So I do know that Miami has got a serious initiative toward attracting tech, and all of the annual tech conferences that they have is designed to do just that, attract companies. Are you guys planning to collaborate in any way, shape, or form?
Absolutely. As you know, our Mayor Suarez is a very busy man, but our offices are coordinating to meet and to collaborate on some issues.
Okay, cool. Last question I'll ask you. Some of the goals of the program. What are some of the goals? How will you know at the end of the day whether or not this program has been successful? Do you have any numbers? Do you have any anything in particular that basically is that will determine whether or not you're successful?
Okay. So right now, let me just tell you about, and excuse me if I go into my notes for a minute to just tell you about.
Hey, notes are good. Notes are good.
Yes. Oops. Right now, let me just tell you about our 7-point plan.
Okay.
So the first thing that we're doing is the NoMi Tech Development Corporation. We're selecting the targeted industries. The targeted industries that we'd like right now. We realized actually in our research that we had a lot of the healthcare, we had engineers, so we are just trying to figure out the music industry. At one point, that corridor was there were a lot of studios there. So that's our second point, designing the 125th Street as NoMi Tech's Art and Innovation District. We're creating innovative hubs, development of continuous and training services, building on the NoMi Tech incentive package, and to build the NoMi Tech Development Fund. So this is our 7-point plan for NoMi Tech. Understand that this is still very brand new to us. We're testing it out and seeing how it is. We're very confident that this is going to take off well. Again, creating that hub, that niche for minority businesses to have a place where they can thrive.
And what is the timeline like? What is the, when should people start reaching? When should small businesses or businesses that are medium-sized businesses that are looking to move to North Miami, when should they begin the process of reaching out to?
They start reaching out now.
Okay.
They should start, as a matter of fact, in its early state, even better, they should start reaching it now. I'd like to take out the time to recognize our Economic Development Director, John Loftus, which has been working really hard on implementing, especially those 7 points. But this is the time now, as we are formatting ourselves, as we are creating a hub space for minorities, that they come in and now, so we can have the conversations and we can talk about the concerns, and we can help perfect our plan.
Okay. And who should they reach out to? Is it probably not your office, but is there an office that's set up, or website that's set up, or anything like that that's set up that people can actually begin the process of asking for or requesting information, or an application process or anything like that?
Yes. NoMi, is it NoMi Tech, Patricia?
Okay.
NoMi, we have a website, but worst case scenario, you can go to northmiamifl.gov.
Okay.
And see and look up, search NoMi Tech, and you would find our information. We have
Okay, cool. Last thing is this. First of all, let me pay the bills real quick, Vice Mayor. I really, really appreciate you spending the time to talk about this. And I know for sure that this is it's like a moving target, right? You guys are putting this thing together, and it's like Bruce Lee, one of my favorite people in the world, Bruce Lee, would say it's like water, right? But
yes.
So right now it's like water, it's moving and it's fluid and all of those kinds of things. So I appreciate you sharing what you know. But I'm going to come back to you in a second. I'm going to ask you for your parting thoughts, right?
Okay. And before we go, I just wanted to clarify, to be more specific, outside of going to northmiamifl.gov, you can go directly to northmiamitech.com. So the word North Miami and then tech.com.
And we're going to try to see if we can put that in the chat so that people can actually pick that up. You know, so people that's watching this, Lee, if you would put that in the chat, that'd be excellent. So with that, I'm gonna switch gears for 1 second and kind of pay the bills. First of all, I want to thank Legacy Magazine for making this important. It is so important. It's critical that we give Black businesses and minority-owned businesses information that will help them to scale up their businesses. That's really, really important. I want to thank Demesman and Dover, personal injury attorneys. Victor, you and your guys have been with us from the very beginning. Thank you very much for supporting us. Career Source of South Florida. Again, thank you for being a sponsor of this show for the last year and a half. FAMU Medical Marijuana Education and Research Institute. Thank you guys for also being with us for over a year, sponsoring this podcast. Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County, and last and certainly not least, AARP. Now, I need to hype my fellow podcasters out there that actually work with Legacy Magazine as well, or have their own podcast. Really, really good shows out there, thought-provoking shows with industry leaders, or definitely people that can help you to grow your life as well as help you with your health. Mondays, The Business of Black Business with Jay Reynolds. You don't want to miss that show. It's 1 p.m. every Monday. Jay Reynolds, The Business of Black Business. Tuesday, My Money, Your Money with Bridget Lumpkin at 7 p.m. Wednesdays, Soul with Nikki Geelan, also at 7 p.m. Thursdays, Lunch with Legacy Leaders, 12 noon with Anne-Marie Sorrells. And The Taste of South Florida at 7 p.m. Also on Thursdays with my boy, Chef Ari. I got to tell you, I watch that all the time just to find out what's the new restaurants I'm going to go to, because I'm not a foodie, but I love going to different restaurants. And then finally, Black Health, hosted by Dr. Michelle Kerwin, Fridays at 2 p.m. Your health is important. There's nothing more important in our community than taking care of our health, not only for ourselves, but for the legacy of our own families. So with that being said, I'm back to you, Vice Mayor. Give me some secret sauce. Tell me 3 things that are important that you think are important that people know.
3 things that are important that.
Yeah, 3 things. Leave people with 3 things as far as this is concerned that should be important that people know or are utilized to take their business from one level to the next. Just some
Okay.
advice.
Right, but before we go into that, in your thinking and in your commercial, you talked about mental health and keeping healthy. And so I'd be remiss. One of my initiatives as vice mayor, especially in the month of May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, is to just tell us, please take care of your health, of your mental health. I think there are a lot of people walking undiagnosed. And then this is something that our community does just not talk about.
Mhm.
And I've made it my business to make sure that I tell people, hey, talk about it, get the help that you can get. There's nothing wrong. This doesn't mean that you're not intelligent. Really focus on getting the mental health that you need. Taking the time out, taking a vacation, seeing a professional. And it is so important. We as a Black communities carry so much. We worry about our kids, we worry about our financial status, we worry about so many things which affect our mental health. So I just wanted to put that out there.
I agree with you 100%, especially as Black men. We tend not to share our feelings, our thoughts, and we soldier on, so to speak. And that's not always a good thing.
Right.
You've got to be able to share your thoughts and decompress to some degree, and maybe share your thoughts. And I believe that improves not only the trajectory of your life, but the trajectory of everybody's life around you when you're in a better mental space. So with that being said, you were going to give me some parting thoughts.
Think out of the box, find your niche, and ask for help.
Cool. I like all of those 3 things. I like them all. So again, thank you very much, Vice Mayor. I know you have a lot going on, so thank you very much for spending your time. Really, really good. And as you guys flesh this thing out, let's try to see if we can set up a second conversation to talk more about the specifics in terms of how people can actually utilize this and grow their businesses, as well as grow the city of North Miami, which is all equally important. My name is Jay Reynolds, and this is The Business of Black Business. We are a top-ranked executive staffing firm that places people in finance and accounting and IT. Again, this is a Black Business of Black Business. So tune in again next week, where we'll have somebody as thought-provoking as Vice Mayor Mary Estime-Irvin.
Thank you, Jay. It was a beautiful conversation, and I look forward to coming on your platform again.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that again. But thank you very much for your time. I always say that if it is to be, it's up to me. And I live by that mantra. But thanks again, Vice Mayor, for all that you do to make this happen. Take care.
Okay.